I'm just so honored to have Margie here today, and I'd like you all to welcome Margie. Margie.
Hello everyone, it's an absolute pleasure to be here today, and what an absolutely beautiful venue. So thank you to National Australia Bank for letting us use this great space. You know, as I look around the room, as I looked around this morning, I just see so many wonderful women. So much energy here, and I'm sure that you've felt it too just arriving. You know, we women can do so many amazing things, and yet my experience working with lots of women in lots of different organisations and in different cultures actually around the world is that we doubt ourselves too much and we back ourselves too little. And so often the potential that we have to lead, to influence change, to ultimately do more and be more and give more is some of it's left on the table because we don't necessarily put ourselves out there as much as we could, and we get stuck sometimes in our own heads. So today there are so many great speakers coming out up here on stage to share with you their insights and their experiences and their advice. So as you listen to them today, I really encourage you, obviously you'll be listening from a place of what is there for me to take away that it can help me in my own career and in leading better, in managing better, in dealing with the challenges I'm facing. But I also encourage you just to think about what is something that I can actually take away and action? Because so often, I mean, put up your hand here if you've ever come to a conference, you've sat down, you've heard lots of great things, you've thought, yeah, that's great, yeah, that's great, yeah, that's great, and then you've gone back and implemented none of them. Yeah, okay. I know it's so easy because you get overwhelmed with all the information. So as you sit here today and you listen, I really encourage you, maybe if you've got a notebook there, have a little section that's just like action items. So yes, you'll have lots of insights, but what are the things you're actually going to do? Because if nothing changes, nothing changes. And I think it's so easy to kind of get stuck in our own default mode. I'd like you all just to cross your arms for a moment. And take a look at the women just around you as you cross your arms. Now, I'd like you to... You're just crossing your legs? Okay, sorry. Your front row, I'm sorry. I just saw they weren't crossed. Now I just want you, looking at the women around you, I want you to cross them the opposite way. Okay, who feels like they just lost about 20 IQ points on that very basic exercise? You know, the reality is that we are creatures of habit, and we have our default ways of thinking about things, of viewing the world, of viewing ourselves, of interacting with other people, of responding to our challenges. And your default mode isn't necessarily, there's nothing wrong with your default mode. It got you to be here today. It's allowed you to achieve what you have so far. But if we do things the same way always, we don't always do them the best way. And as women, we know that we bring incredible strengths to the table. We're perceptive and we're collaborative and we're insightful and we work hard and we're bloody good at multitasking and juggling lots of different things. But sometimes we need to think about, how could I do this differently? How am I doing things in a way that isn't my habitual default way of doing things, be actually a more effective way of doing things, whether it's in how you go about getting decisions made, in managing your time, in dealing with people. Sometimes we need to be more assertive or more direct or more forceful than we may naturally feel inclined to be. So as you listen, think about how could you do things differently than how you've been doing them that would allow you to achieve more than you have up until now, and perhaps allow yourself to enjoy the journey that bit more too. I also want you to just think about where do you need to be braver. Obviously, we've already seen the video and that wonderful song, which I love, you know, Show Me How Big Your Brave Is. It's one of my favourites because, you know, when you think about what does it take, so often we know what it is we could do, but we don't always take the actions. Anyone here ever thought, I'm going to go on a diet, I'm going to eat better, I'm going to exercise more, get out of bed, you know, meditate for 10 minutes every morning and then not done it? Yeah. So there's knowing what we should do, knowing what would help us, and then there's actually doing it. And so often what holds us back is our fear of not being enough. It's our fear of failing. It's fear of not having what it takes. It's our fear of what people might say, or of being rejected, of falling flat on our face. And so when it comes to you accomplishing what it is you really want to accomplish, And as someone said in the video we just watched, it's don't just ask yourself, what can I do? Ask yourself, what is it I really want to do? And if you connect with what it is you really want to do, it is absolutely going to require you getting out of your comfort zone and taking a risk, laying your vulnerability on the line and exposing yourself to the possibility that you won't have what it takes, that you may fall short, that people won't give you the answer that you want to get, that they might reject you, that they mightn't like what you have to say. But it's only when you risk that possibility that you can open up bigger possibilities for learning more and doing more and becoming more. And so as you listen to everything today, not only those action items, what are the things I'm going to do, but where do I need to be that bit braver? Where do I need to put myself out there that bit more? Because we have a tendency as women, far more than the men that we work with and share our lives with, to underestimate ourselves and to sell ourselves short. And finally, before I introduce our first speaker, you know, as women, there's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And we know sometimes women can get a bad rap, actually, for being tougher on each other than we are on men, or the men are on us. We can be our own harshest critics, and we can also be critical at times of others. And so today in this space, I mean, I just think what we can have just an incredible day today. We're going to have an incredible day, but it'll be even that bit better again if we're focused not only on how do we move up ourselves in toward the things that we want most, but how do we help embolden and encourage and facilitate the other women around us to do the same. So to lift as you climb. And so to that end, I know that there's many of you here that know other women in the room. But right now, I'd just like you to stand up, lift yourselves out of your chair. And without going too far afield, I just want you to just say hello to at least 3 or 4 women around you. And just because, you know what, I don't think we can be told often enough, just tell them that they're fabulous or whatever you want to tell them. You love their dress. Thank you. Okay, who enjoyed meeting someone they hadn't met before? Isn't that wonderful? I often feel just in when I go around and I speak at different events and work with different women that the power of connection, it's really, really lovely to connect with other people. It's great to connect with women you already know. But also, every time we go out and we meet somebody else, every encounter we have is an opportunity to build a relationship. You know, our relationships are built through conversation, and the quality of those conversations over time impacts and determines the quality of those relationships. And so often we can hold back going, well, I don't know them. But, you know, today I really encourage you during breaks, during lunch, don't just go to the women you know. That's great. Catch up with the women you know and build those relationships. But also, I encourage you and challenge you to go up and say hello and introduce yourself to women you don't know. Walk up to a group of women who are chatting and I'm sure they'll welcome you in and just share who you are. And, you know, those relationships are the currency of influence, and they're the currency for ultimately moving ahead in our own lives. And the more people that you know and you're connected to and that you have trust, you know, that bank account of trust that we have in our relationships over time, the more that you have that in your work and beyond your work, the more you're able to get things done. And, you know, the more people who know what it is you want, the more people can help you achieve what you want. And so as you talk to people today, I also encourage you just to ask them, is there anything I can do to help you? What are you doing? Can I help you in any way? Because who knows who you could connect them to and who they could connect to, or what resource you may have that they don't have. Because I know myself that throughout my second career, I started out in business in marketing, my first career, and then I went back to uni and I started a second career in coaching, and ultimately it's sort of evolved over the last 12 years. I know for me, so many of the best opportunities I've had have literally been from meeting someone somewhere and them saying, I must connect you to this person and connect you to that person. It's ultimately all come about through that power of conversation and connection. So I encourage you to connect with more people today than you may have otherwise, or that may sometimes feel comfortable for you.